We are in conversation with Miranda Lusiba, and she's the founding director of Strangé Consulting, and we're talking about the importance of collaboration in business. Ma'am, thank you so much for being with us namhlanje.
Oh, thank you very much for having me again. All right.
The right, and Kalinganto neflunja qha, but I'm fine.
Okay.
Sure. All right. I think for bringing context to someone who doesn't even understand Bastida Antoni, what would you say collaboration means in the space of business, especially small businesses?
So, collaboration is basically small business owners when they come together and decide whether they want to work on a project together or like these consortiums that we were talking about the other day. When people come together and decide whether boy two or three or four on a project.
Okay.
In most cases, in my case, collaboration dienza kakhulu when I feel ukuthi I've got overflow work.
Okay.
Emsebenzini kule company because disebenza ndiyi-one, at times, like for instance, especially after COVID, a lot of people with small businesses can't afford hiring people about full time. So but you feel into ba ndifumene client maybe as clients is two one and our capacity. So the best thing to do is to collaborate and find other people that are doing the same thing that you're doing, that have similar experience, that can help you to deliver to a client, because I was signing contracts ube ungena capacity. How
you have to deliver.
Yes. So a collaboration ke ngoku ingena apho. Into ba small business people bahlale bonke and decide ukuthi we've got the same objectives, so because we've got the same objectives, let's work together and see where this takes us.
Quite interesting. And I think andiyazi especially for smaller businesses, black businesses, lento yokusebenzisana, it doesn't come natural sometimes, andiyazi about what has caused that, but sometimes you'll feel into bana uyawubona, you assess that umuntu ngamnye usekoneni yakhe ubusy into yakhe, and anoba kukho fear. What's your observation?
You know what, it's betekile over the years.
Okay.
Like for instance, ungenise i-document yakho because kuthiwe kukho i-contract, and then ungayifumani contract, instead ukusebenzisa i-ideas zakho by someone else, or you work with someone and then lo muntu decide ndoba akhabe ezantsi. So trust is very important in collaboration.
Sure.
When you're working with people that you trust. Abangazuhamba behind you, because if you design a contract and it's my client, then you need to understand and respect that the client is mine. But I'm bringing you in so that now you can benefit from the
sure.
So that's why I always say we collaborations, for them to work, it's better. Ningayenzi ngestuko. I am believed to go family have contracts. Have contracts that stipulate exactly in the terms and conditions because naleyo trust umntu contract yakho, the next thing uzibone wena songenayo okanye angadeliverisho okanye uzibone songenayo kwalo contract then problem. So it's always best to have a contract that stipulates exactly ndoba le contract yenu itini, what are the terms, what is expected of this person when it comes to delivery, what is expected on your side, into the payments ndoba uzampatala malini nini ezonto zinjalo, because otherwise without that ningaphela nixabana ngezinto ixesha lihamba nibe ningenanto sephepheni that you can go back to.
No, that's a very interesting one, and I think Nyanike, what you're saying is true. Abanye abantu, they have encountered a negative, side to ukusebenzisana nabanye abantu. As a result, Nyani, the advice that you're giving, that no siyenze si formalize this collaboration so that we both, all the parties are clear about what's the role that they're supposed to play and how do they contribute, kule arrangement.
Yes.
All right, and what would you say collaboration is benefiting all puhlobo is small businesses, especially when you're looking at the market and how competitive it is?
Okay, so sometimes there aren't enough contracts for all of us.
Okay.
There's one contract, but low contract, if we know partnership with other people, you can end up in a benefit anonke.
Sure.
Instead of basizamu computer sonke for a contract one, rather you go in together And instead of getting 100% of that contract, maybe you end up getting 40% of that, but it's better than nothing. You know, so in most cases, abantu abayiboni benefit your partnership nabantu. But mna ndithi ezinye benefits ne, like for instance lena benithethe xa une-contract enkulu awukwazi uba-agree to uthathe la contract ube ungena capacity uzo end up uyiluza. Sometimes ezinye small businesses are struggling, so for i-well-being yazo, especially after COVID, for i-well-being of other small businesses, why ungazobaqhekezela something, you know, just a small piece of the pie. You're not giving them the whole thing, but at least a small piece of the pie. But again, that's done with abantu abane goodwill.
Yes.
Because abantu, they don't look at it like that. Abanye abantu bayifunela yonke into kubo, and then ubone doba izikhona businesses abantu obaziyo around you that are suffering, but when you've got more than enough, you know, business you can share. And then abanye abantu baphele bechaneka because abafuna usharisha, then abadeliver kwi-clients equality low because galoba all over the place because bayifuna yonke la mali. So it benefits zokusebenza nabanye abantu is making sure into you deliver to the client, because alokho awufumene le contract ngoku, it's possible ukuthi mhlawumbe it's a short-term contract, but because you worked so well in your collaboration, then the client developed, okay, you know what, I want to extend the contract for a longer period, because you've had people that were helping you. Had you done it alone, mhlawumbe you were going to mess it up, the client ingaziphinde ibuye usosomosha igama lakho ke in future.
That is really, really powerful. And le syndrome sinayo ka man for himself. I mean, you're touching on it right now. Singenza njani ukuthi siyisuse? Because I don't know what is enough? When is it enough? You know what you're getting. When is it enough? Where you're like, man, no, ndionela ilendao, you know, and also balancing that out with growth that you're looking for also. But kungabikho la element of umntu uzimele ke, you know, it's just ndiyazirhwaphilizela nje everything, you know. So how do we deal with that syndrome of ufuna uthatha yonke into?
I think in most cases, if sinalo syndrome, if ukusebenza sodwa, we find ourselves ukuthi as years go by, i-businesses it was cool.
Okay.
Mhlawumbe had potential ba ukhulisa i-business yakho ngoba uthatha abanye abantu. Uyabona uthatha abanye abantu into your business. Like I was saying to you, in some cases we don't have imali that comes constantly into a business. Yobhadala umntu full time.
Sure.
So it's better if you've got a business associate, because a business associate understands into bazawubhadala xa i-client ibhadalile. Uyabona akho laa nto but there's a standing amount that you need to
monthly.
pay. Also another thing is that xa collaborator with other small businesses, it's term based. If you contract you 3 months, they're helping you for that 3 months. And you know you have to pay that person for 3 months. But when you have a person or full time or lapa, and then une contracts is 3 months, 2 months, uzambadala njani for the next year. Ubone ke usozibona ko CCMA because awubhadala abantu salaries, but sozikhommithile to abantu assigning contracts, employment contracts. Abantu ba expect into bakaloku uzawubhadala every month. But sometimes ufumana ba contracts zakho they too short, imali engenayo, it's not enough to sustain lento ukubhadala salaries for that long. So lento ke ngoku ye collaboration with small businesses iyanceda, because you're subcontracting people. So you're using freelancers and contractors as and when you need them. Ni collaborate ubabhadale ngela xesha. If akho umsebenzi omninzi or akho mali, then whatever is small yakho ke ngoku uzasebenza kuyo. So mna ndiyenza on and off basis lento ye collaboration. If I had a long-term contract efuna abantu abaninzi, maybe then I'd be collaborating for the next 4-5 years. But another thing that buyibuza kule nto ba abantu kutheni bethanda uhlala kule nto basebenze bodwa is because abantu abatrust bantu. It's very important when you're collaborating to take people that you trust. Because awukwazi ukufaka abantu abazawuphinda bakhabe ezantsi. Funeka uthatha abantu that you trust. Now I always collaborate with other people that are in the PR business, that own PR agencies nabo.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Even if many client that I'm working on, like lendi kuyo ngoko endibhalelayo, that keeps me very busy. And then you won't find another contract in Bondo, but I'm not going to cope with this contract and the third one. Then I tap into their skills. Subcontractor so that unike some of your hours and help me to deliver to this client. And another thing that's also important is your integrity. You want to make sure that if you take with clients, deliver. And by collaborating, you helping yourself at least like workload so that you can deliver.
All right. And looking at Omnye Umcimbi Apha, which is What do you think people should do to start the process of collaboration? Should you reach out? Should you write an email? Should you meet face to face? Like, what's the process of actually, let's say someone is listening right now, a business is listening and is like, oh, I never thought about this. Okay, let me give this thing a chance, you know.
Yes.
How would you advise that process? Reaching out and actually commencing those collaborative relationships.
I'd say in most cases, good bantu who have been working for a while, you get to know abantu industry.
Okay, sure.
You get to work with people uba understand even uba ungumntu onjani, ungumntu trustworthy, unjani. Then ngaba bantu basondezayo ophinde uyotepha kubo xa ucinga collaborate. Uyabona? Because it's very difficult to just take someone ungamaziyo from a start when ungamazi uba uzawufika athini. It's always best to know abantu aba reputable in the industry, because that's what we do. If we une contract enkulu, you go and tap into the doors and knock into the doors of people that you know are reputable in the industry. People that you know ukuthi akho scandal esaziwa into ba wayisebenze nomntu the next akambhadala wabaleka okanye akadeliver. So you surround yourself with abantu oyazi into ba you can trust, and oyazi uba abana reputation engekho right.
I'm thinking right now of even their personality, because other business people are very arrogant and proud, you know. Yes. I don't think everyone is like that in the business space, but and I'm thinking of a situation where you go and outreach and then, you know, you've got that dynamic, you know, people have got even personality issues and character issues, individuals, and you bring that on board, it can be dangerous. I don't know.
No, it can, because it does clash egos, because nomnye ucinga uba wazi ngaphezulu kunomnye. So now I'm very careful with who I collaborate with, and very intended just for the sake of collaborating. Yes, collaboration is important, but you have to choose your people very carefully. You can't just take anyone. The next thing, you're batting heads every 2 minutes and in there pikisana about things and if in a situation, it means what you know, you need to be able to identify what kind of people. The way that I identify abantu and collaborate nabo is also personality. It's people that I worked with in the past and wonder, okay, siyajela, you know, it's people that I know. If isn't azambika kuhle and we have to have those difficult conversations, they're going to be able to take responsibility. You know what, Miranda, andilivanga bendirongo, and I'm going to make sure or if equality umsebenzi I deliver, I call right, siyakwazi into basibene conversation. Not umntu ozaxela into ba mna kudala ndikule industry ndayazi le nto enzayo, so I can't be told by you.
Yeah, it can actually get very, very complicated. Let's also talk as we wrap up as well, because I feel like sometimes, you know, there is that element. Yoba people nje no mona, so because they no mona would rather not go out there and share information. So just even basic information, you know, yes. Just sharing what you know, sharing, you know, to empower nabanye abantu, other businesses around in the ecosystem, industry and stuff like that. You know, where it's like, maybe I should not get into this space. Maybe I should not share. Maybe I should just hoard everything. And in doing that, then obviously, depart from there, collaboration is about a whole lot.
Yes, yes.
And as my question is more around that. Then how do you manage yourself not to have that as the entrepreneur, to be a bit more open and not have umona, you know, because I think nyani sometimes it can be from that angle. Hence,
yeah. So I think important kakhulu labor. You need to have an honest conversation with yourself. Okay. That's what I do now on an ongoing basis. When I look at contracts, I weigh them. Contracts and isfumanayo, and I have an honest conversation with myself, and I look at it and like, okay, Miranda, noba sekuthiwa uyawazi umsebenzi wakho kodwa awuzufikelela apha. Awuzufikelela. So ufuneke uvume into ba, you know what, even if I wanted to keep all this money for myself, rather, instead of unikeza a bid to someone else, I'm not going to deliver. And the problem will compromise your work ethic and compromise delivery clients, compromise the promise that you made to a client. If you promise something
rather,
to a client,
you said under promise and over deliver, not the other way around.
Yes. And another thing is that when they promise to client, the client expects about deliver. And awukwazi ukwenza excuses sekunikile contract because uvumile. So client expecting about if uvumile, then it means you've got capacity to handle that contract. And clients in most cases they're under pressure. Like for instance, if you're working for big companies, those people that you're working for, nabo bane targets, bane bosses that they have to deliver to. So ngokwazi uthi so nikwe contract, then you come up with excuses noba why not deliver hayi abantu abafikanga and nabantu aba enough. Bazathi uyithathela la contract if you didn't set your
house in order.
Put your house in order first before uthathe contract. And as new contract again ndithi ke mna ke if awuzufuna ucollaborate nabantu ezinye contracts yeke. So don't even go to them if you know into you're not gonna want to share with other people, or go and find resources that have the same skills. And also another thing that's very important is just respecting ukuthi there's other people out there who can do the same thing that you do and maybe do it better.
You're not the only one.
You are not the only person who can do that. So, and also another thing, I think this is just my last point that I wanted to make into abantu man, it's important for people to know ndoba class with small businesses important to feed off other people's strengths.
Okay.
That honest conversation that you're having with yourself. Also look at your weaknesses in business. Look at areas also strong kuzo. And then and then surround yourself with people that have those skills and tap into those people as and when you feel indoba okay you know. So I think be honest with yourself and know what your shortcomings are, because you can't be good at everything.
It's not possible.
So that's why it's always important. In my previous company, I always said to abantwana bensebenza nabo bazi interns and all that, because they're much younger than me. They're not born before technology. Yeah.
Okay.
So they
are tech advanced.
Yes. But abantu ngaba ba fidgeta with our phones. We say bancinci akhule nayo technology. So because of that, there's a lot of things as a technology as you're more than me.
Sure.
So I used to be honest. Ngondi managing director in the company. I'm a managing director. Yes, I know a lot, but I used to be honest about the things that I can do and say to them, you know what? As junior as you are, when are you good at this? You better than me. So ndirely kuwe kwinto ethile mna ndizawuza kuwe because le into andiyazi. And there's nothing wrong saying ukuthi I was and saying ukuthi I'm not strong in this area. So tap into people around you.
Actually, you coming with that point, you're reminding me someone who once said, being a leader is more about being able to make use of the human resources around you. You don't have to know all the answers. You don't have to be perfect be perfect at finding the perfect people to surround yourself with, so that you can exactly what you're saying, feed off the resources that they bring around you. And I think it's a strength. It's a strength.
It is. You mentioned Indoba, it's important about umtu. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
But it's fine. Obviously it will take a lot of maturity from business people. It will take maturity. It will take I think immaturity is awukwazi ukwenza nawe as a business person to say andiyazi lena into, and if you're not self-affirmed and mature enough, then obviously uzohlala ukulaa nto hayidazi yonke into, of which you don't.
But masibuyele kulaa nto yala integrity, just to close off again. Integrity means intoba xa umuntu ekubizile into ispace sakhe uzawurespect esa space.
Sure.
And the fact that ukuzisela ibhizinisi, mhlawumbe ibhizinisi yakho ibisengxakile ibingene, or maybe you've got cash flow issues khona apho une shortages, and it uthetha this other time when we were talking intoba abantu bafuna multiple income streams so that you can make up a shortfall mhlawumbe from your cash flow. So lo muntu uza nalondo leyo basically kwikhampani yakho intoba avale eza shortfalls, so you respect londo leyo. And i-example enzayenza yila company ndanthethe ngayo le East London ndandincedile when they were liquidating.
Sure.
I-company yakhona was a client at my previous company where I was a managing director. But it was a short-term contract.
Okay.
They were hoping that client was going to sign with them at a later stage again, but they didn't have a budget at the time.
Okay.
So when they were liquidating and the CEO found out about I'm coming back to the Eastern Cape, he thought, okay, because I worked with you in Joburg, I'd like your company, I'd like your company to help me with this problem that I have. But again, the challenge was that ethically, that client was not mine. company bensebenza kuyo before. And ke ngoku nakoma ukuze kube easy and also ngingamoshi i-relationship yam with my previous CEO. Into mandiyenze.
Now you engage.
Mandifonele i-previous CEO yam ndimchaze into yoba, you know what, I've been approached by this CEO yale company. It was your client, but he said to me ukuthi he'd rather work with a smaller agency because he cannot afford a bigger agency. Yeah, right? So ngoku bendifuna find out from you if you'd mind if ndiyayinceda le client ndiyithathe under my company. And he appreciated the fact that
you
I'm
were
also
that ethical
and
honest,
also
sure.
almost asking for permission because
You
client
don't,
yakhe.
and you know what, and ethics nduxelele us is understanding at times like siyazibreaka ngendlela eyisimanga, and you know that compromises a lot of our work and a lot of future work and a lot of relationships and end up burning bridges ozazidinga mhlawumbe because you don't know what the future holds.
Because it's going to catch up with you at some point. Uyaziwa wena in the market, and you must understand in the business world is becoming so small.
Yeah.
Ingathi inkulu, but for some reason
Wonke umuntu uyamazi.
event ubone pha kwi-event komba
Ubani ulapha?
almost wonke umuntu ulapha. Everyone knows everyone.
Yeah.
So the more ubulala i-reputation yakho, the more ke ngoku uzaba ne-problems later on. No one will want to partner with you because bayayazi kaloku into yoba uzazikhabe ezantsi lo. Uyabona? Yeah.
Ma'am, thank you so much for coming through and having this conversation with us. I think usivule amehlo around space collaboration. Siyabulela kakhulu. And then for before we wrap it up, for someone who wants to get in touch with you, how do we get in touch with you?
Okay, so I'm available on email.
Yes.
In my company, if there's any questions that people have, Miranda at strangeconsulting.co.za. And then I'm also available on social media, almost all platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, even TikTok, Instagram, but zonke Miranda Lusiba.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure,
And then
sure.
there's one page, a company, Strangé Consulting page on Facebook. All this that we are talking about, these columns that we write on empowerment columns, on business and PR and all of these things, you can find them on the Facebook, on that page.
Do you have a WhatsApp number?
I do have a WhatsApp number. It's 068 029 8760.
All right.
I only take WhatsApps on that number.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, Mpulapula of Ghana Community Radio, quite a powerful conversation around collaboration. But we need to truly get to a point of understanding the importance of working with abanye abantu. Like, success yethu wena kahle, full potential that we can be able to realize as individuals also and in business can actually come from leveraging the resources that abanye abantu bring, you know. Obviously, it's up to you to assess, you know, what are some of the strengths that you need to outsource to someone else. But I think it's important that nyani singene into the culture of xa umsebenzi undongamele okanye umninzi, I can actually knock on my sister or my brother's door and say, cela undincede ngolu hlobo. And obviously, uchilo ke usis Miranda wathi, make sure that you formalize the terms and you work on a respect and integrity level, ethically so, nisebenzisane and work with people that you trust, people that, you are sure into bana at least noko yazi umuntu sozumgqibe ncam, but at least noko you've got inclination ethi noko akazokuyekela, they won't let you down. Otherwise, there is a lot of power in collaborating. We have seen it right now. Mastate ingoma, and after that, don't go anywhere. We still have a whole lot more that we're bringing you on the show.